Okay, so hi everybody. Let's go over some inequalities and how to solve. So if I give you a simple inequality like this, okay, you solve just like normal. So imagine this is the equal sign. So you're going to divide both sides by 2. So x is going to be less than -4. So when we say graph an inequality on a number line, you use a number line, and I require 3 consecutive numbers. So if x is less than -4, I'm going to keep the circle open, right? So it's open if it's less than or greater than, and then you're going to shade it in if it's less than or equal to or greater than or equal to. So anything less than -4 is all going to be shaded to the left. Right? And if you look at this little inequality symbol, notice how it's pointing to the left. So that could be helpful. Right, let's try another one. Okay, so again, you solve an inequality like you solve an equation. So to get rid of the -4, I'm going to add 4 to both sides. So x is greater than or equal to 6. So to graph it, right, so we could put 6, you can put 5 and 7, as long as I have 3 consecutive numbers. So since it's greater than or equal to, it's going to be a closed circle at 6, and everything greater than is going to be shaded. And notice how I even shade the arrow to show that it's going to go on forever. All right. If you need to pause this, I'm going to clear the screen to do another example. Now, one thing that you need to remember, there's a rule when you solve an inequality. If you multiply or divide by a negative number while you are solving, I hope you're taking notes, okay? I am going to walk around tomorrow to make sure you have notes in your notebook. So for this problem, we're going to use this rule. So to get n alone, I am going to multiply both sides by -2. So since this value, right, is negative, right? So I'm trying to solve for n. In order to do that, I have to multiply both sides by a negative value. I must flip my inequality symbol. That's the one rule that you must follow with an inequality. If you don't follow it, then the whole graph is going to be wrong. So -12, -11, -13. So less than -12 would be open circle and then shaded to the left. Okay. Pause this if you need to copy it down. Okay, so let's try this one. If you want to pause me, try it yourself, that would be good. Okay, so I'm going to divide both sides by -4. So since I am dividing by a negative, I have to use my rule. I have to flip my inequality symbol. So to graph this, right, less than or equal to would be a closed circle at -2, shade everything to the left. Okay. Now there's one thing I want to go over. It's called the flip-flop method. I wish we can all wear flip-flops right now. So think of like flip-flop. So if I give you an inequality that looks like this, okay, you're most likely going to graph it incorrectly. The variable should be on the left. okay? So in order to get the variable on the left, you're going to just move it. But unfortunately, you can't just move it. You have to also flip the inequality symbol. So this is a little different than the rule. The rule is when you're multiplying or dividing by a negative, you have to flip the inequality symbol. But if you have a problem where the variable is on the right-hand side, in the end, before you graph it, you should use the flip-flop method, okay? And I'm going to do one more with you. Okay, so notice the variables on the right. So I'm going to divide both sides by 8. I'm dividing by a positive, so I don't need to flip-flop anything. But before you go ahead and graph this, right, let's use the flip-flop method, because 2 is greater than or equal to x does not mean you're going to shade greater than 2. So I'm going to flip the x and the 2, right? So I'm going to flip and then flop this, so it's less than or equal to. So when you graph it, it's going to be a closed circle, and then it's going to be less than or equal to. All right, so work on the 6 questions I gave you, and we will continue this tomorrow.